that line and staying right on the kitchen line with those forehand dinks. She'll need to do more of the same.
Here we go, a spot in the semifinals. Up for grabs. Annalie Waters just misses that third. You can already hear the silence in the stadium. Everyone knows this is all business.
Side out, second serve.
Yeah, I like the aggressive play. It's always tough, though, when your partner's looking to disconnect and do that shake and bake. If you drive cross court, the natural volley is back behind them up the line. So if they're going to do that shake and bake, I'd like to see them go a little more middle and take away some angle.
She had a good look, and that's very, very reminiscent of what we saw. Long, extended dinking rallies between these two teams. Not necessarily the short play that we've seen in regards to most of the day so far.
Yeah, and for the viewers at home that are wondering why that is, it's the respect that everyone has on the court for the reflexes and the hand speed. So they're really trying to work the points a little longer to really make sure that that opening is there.
Oh, 1-0. 1-0-2. Point.
2 missed returns now.
2-0-2. Side out.
Yeah, might have just been a little bit too high for Annalie to look to poach off that last one, and JW made her pay the price there.
And a point for the number 8 seed, J-Dub and Georgia.
Yeah, we saw in the last match Annalie Waters having some success speeding up cross court against Kawamoto, but going to be maybe a little tougher to do that against Johnson. I think she has a little more power in her counterpunching ability.
1-2-2.
And a missed dink there. Many have talked about the growth of Georgia Johnson in her game. Probably one of the most improved in 2022 alone.
2-2-2.
Yeah, she came right out and always had a lot of power, but she's done a really good job of improving her hand speed and all the touch shots that you really need to be able to work these slower points.
3-2-2.
A lead change now, 3-2.
Side out.
I think a good idea there from Johnson, just unable to convert on that backhand speed up.
Point.
Not quite able to grab that one, 3-all.
It's tough when the best are always getting better and adding new shots. I think we've seen Annalie Waters try 3 or 4 lob attempts today, and she's made all of them.
Ben Johns with a few shots to get it done. So I have a question for you. With the wrist position of J-Dub, out of curiosity, because he cuffs that ball when he's dinking a little bit more often, we all know he's got the flick on the backhand side to create. How does he create offense on the forehand side?
Second serve.
Yeah, so I think you do need to change your paddle position. When he kind of cuffs it, that's usually when a ball's starting to get behind him a little bit.
Yeah.
And he'll use that paddle position in order to bring the point back to neutral. But when he has the ball in front of him, it's going to be similar technique of really dropping that head and being able to generate a lot of paddle head speed from the shoulder and wrist.
Okay,
I'll
gotcha.
recall the score. Broken ball.
You'll notice that Johns will do a similar motion, again, on the forehand side. When that ball starts to get behind him, he'll kind of cock his wrist or cuff it in a different sort of way to be able to bring that back and straighten the ball out.
This is a broken one.
That ball is demolished. No surprise there between these two teams. Waters and John still with a 1-point advantage. 4-3. 5-3, excuse me. Get that updated on our scoreboard.
Side out.
Right on the body of Ben Johns.
3-5-1. Second serve.
Yeah, Georgia missed that drive, but I like the drive attempt. I think with her brother's hand speed, the shake and bake play is not a bad idea, and she was balanced.
Side out.
Some friendly fire there for Georgia Johnson.
Yeah, I think she thought her brother was going to cut off the angle on that one. Was a little surprised to have to play that next ball.
Point.
Yeah, Georgia just floated that flick just a little bit too much, and Annalie made her pay the price for it.
There's Georgia Johnson, a nice shot, speed up the line.
6-3-2.
And the adjustment, that was the same type of counter and punch back from J-Dub that he had just missed.
Yeah, you see the elite hand speed, and that's why they can push Ben Johns and Annalie Waters, is because they really can play them pretty even in that department, in my opinion.
Second serve.
And I'm going to seem crazy here, but I really think that Georgia Johnson should do a little bit more of dinking or speeding up back behind Ben Johns. I really think he's so good at being an off-the-ball player. She's done it a little, but I really think for them to win this match, she's going to have to up her percentage of dinking back behind him, especially when he's clogging the middle.
Good news is the only person to call you crazy and have you hear it is me, and I won't do that now.
We'll save that for later.
And she changes locations to the right side of Ben Johns. Nice shot.
6-3-2. Side out. 3-6-1.
Saw the pancake come out for J-Dub, but these firefights are what we love about pickleball. So fun to watch all four of these pro athletes go head-to-head.
Yeah, the firefights have been pretty even so far. Ben and Annalie able to get the better of them on that one.
And to your point, Georgia put them in a very solid position. Wow.
She really did. She was very bold. That's what she's going to have to do. They were in a good position to win that. A little unlucky that they weren't able to finally get that point there.
Nice block from Georgia Johnson as Annalie tries to add some more pressure, and there's one for her.
And again, we saw the formation get changed up a little bit with Annalie on the left side, and
they're wildly comfortable doing that.
I think I've only seen them do it a couple of times, and they've won both points. So what can't they do out here?
Annalie just wants to play on the left because she wants to show off her new one-handed backhand. That's all I'm saying. 7-3, Waters and Johns on top over Georgia Johnson and J-Dub. A couple youngins out on the court, but top dogs in their own right. Annalie Waters recently turning 16 years old. On the other side, Georgia Johnson. We're going to say around 16 for sure, somewhere at 16 or 17 years old. It's fun to see these two at the top of their craft at such a young age.
Point.
Yeah, nice location on that drive from Waters, knowing there's just a little bit of indecision from Johnson, wondering if that's his ball or his sister's.
8-3-2. Point.
Missed return for Georgia Johnson. Again, both trying to unwind the stack. The pressure is on from the serve of Ben Johns.
Side out.
Changing the tempo and a side out.
Yeah, the score hasn't really reflected it too much, but I really like what I'm seeing out of Georgia Johnson and how she's balancing, keeping Ben Johns honest with dinking behind him, as well as varying her speed up locations.
And that ball is put away by Ben Johns. Second serve now.
3-9-2. Side out.
Nice volley from Annalie Waters.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the shake and bake, and I think it's a good idea, but when the drive goes just a little higher, it gives the opportunity for that volley to come at a downward trajectory.
The hands of J-Dub, how he outstretches and just finds that with his wrist.
One, the forearm strength that he must have, in addition to the hand speed. Most people just don't have enough strength when they stab at the ball like that without taking a step. He's kind of the exception.
Point.
Not a lot of dead dinks from Annalie Waters, and that continued pressure is going to create errors from just about anybody.
And there is another ball that actually that hits and goes on the other side of the net. So it falls on the side of Ben and Annalie. It's a side out. It's for Johnson and Johnson.
3-10-1. Point.
Georgia's starting to feel it.
Yeah, again, having success going at Ben Johns at the right times. She's going to need to continue to do that if they want a chance in this match.
Four 10-2.
There is a nice flick from Ben Johns.
Yeah, he doesn't need a lot of daylight to work with to find some options. Great job leaning in and taking control of the point.
Game number one to Waters and Johns, 11-4. I think there was some good assessment periods though throughout this first game.
Yeah, I think each side felt each other out just a little bit, but looked like Johns and Waters were able to get the best of them in most of those exchanges. We'll see if that'll change.
Ben Johns and Annalie Waters one step closer to a semifinal as they picked up game number one over Georgia Johnson and J.W. Johnson in quarterfinal action. This is a Carvana Arizona Grand Slam. Cameron Irwin alongside Kyle McKenzie. Let's see what the adjustments are for Johnson and Johnson.
Point.
Yeah, and that's J.W. Johnson's signature shot. Can really generate a lot of power and spin with a short flicking motion on that backhand side.
Side out.
The challenge that Georgia Johnson has of trying to keep it away from Ben while also keeping him honest. When she does go cross court, she really has to get it out wide enough to keep it outside the forehand of Ben Johns.
What a beautiful ATP from J.W. Johnson. I love it. He gives a nice little blow to his hand saying, yeah, we need to cool that thing off.
0-1,
Little heat check. He did not have a lot of space to work with.
No.
Really thread the needle nicely there.
Point.
She had the right look. The challenge, even I was just working on that yesterday on the court, the challenge of trying to
1-1-2.
speed up on that forehand side and the margin for error to find the backhand is just so difficult, especially with somebody like Ben Johns.
Yeah, and when the ball is a little lower than the height of the net, it's finding that perfect speed. You hit it a little too fast, and then it floats on you, hit it too slow, and then they're able to get back over there and counterpunch effectively.
It's a nice shot from Ben Johns in terms of location on Georgia Johnson, kind of finding that left shoulder hard to defend
2-1-2.
above the top of her head.
Yeah, right now Johns is being very aggressive with his footwork, really looking to control the middle of the court at the moment.
Georgia curls that one over.
Side out.
Yeah, and she has that ability to go toe-to-toe with Johns and win a fair chunk of these
1-2-1.
hand exchanges. Not easy to do.
Point.
2-2 now.
2-2-1.
Georgia getting some help and love from the net.
Yeah, we mentioned, though, that, you know, Waters in her last match was speeding up cross court. It really comes down to the person in front of you. How capable of are they as a counterpuncher? Georgia Johnson, I think, has enough power where Waters may have to second guess that particular location.
It was interesting, too, watching the last match for Ben and Annalie. At times, it felt like one of the ways you could maybe neutralize Annalie Waters was the
3-2-2.
dink at her feet. It didn't allow her to be as dynamic as she typically can be.
Yeah, and with using the two hands on the backhand, what you do give up is reach forward, right? So you can dink aggressively at the feet. It's a slightly bigger target than other people.
Well, and there's kind of one of those examples. She's got to step around the ball there, and she has that aggressive forehand roll, but maybe not
4-2-2.
exactly the amount of speed up that she might have with a one hand.
Exactly, and if you're forcing her to create while she's moving, the percentages go down.
Point.
Annalie Waters saying, oh my
Timeout,
goodness, as
receiver.
another point marks itself on the board. So 5-2 here in game two. Johnson and Johnson on top.
Yeah, obviously Waters holds herself to a very high standard, so a couple of misses in a row is unconventional for her. Quick timeout, we'll see if they can adjust.
Lee Waters in the air. We'll see what she has to say to Waters and Johnson, or Waters and Ben Johns after this. This is nearly identical to what we saw at Desert Ridge between these two teams. It was all Ben and Annalie in game number one. Game number two, well, it was pushed further. 13-11 was that second game score. Right now, Johnson and Johnson are looking to find a third. Ooh, that was a little bit of a risky step in there for J-Dub. He even throws his hand up saying, that was awfully close to the kitchen line for a volley.
Yeah, and I like the move from Waters there, but I think she just needs to have the discipline to maybe lay off that one when she jumps the kitchen if it's not there.
And Georgia changes her MO. She goes with a cross-court speed up, but I don't think she found the location she was looking for.
Well, we talked about Waters maybe needing to avoid speeding up cross to Johnson. Might be a little bit of the same. They both have the reflexes and power to make that a tough play.
Second serve.
Ooh, Georgia snuck one by.
She may have got away with one, but fortune favors the bold, Cameron, and they're going to need to take chances to win this match.
That's pretty bold.
Very bold, very bold. I'd really like to see the Johnsons, if the return comes to Georgia, to look to use some shake and bake here off the Johnson drive, or the Georgia Johnson drive, I should say.
Again, J-Dub just so dangerous on that backhand side.
Yeah, his reflexes are
7-2-1.
really on another level, and he's putting it on display out here today.
Second Second serve.
You know, so often we've had the discussion about the backhand and the ability to not only counterpunch with just the wrist, but the amount of balance and control it requires for the rest of your body. It's not just wrist strength that's needed there, it's actually full body control.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, normally if you don't take a step with your lower body as you get reaching, you start to get much weaker and tend to pop the ball up. So it really starts from the ground up, and if you're balanced, good things happen.
J-Deb takes an early shot at Ben Johns in the last rally, 3-7 now.
Second serve.
You can see Annalie trying to take the pace off there, just letting the paddle a little too loose in her hands.
Yeah, just love what I'm seeing from Georgia Johnson. She's really committed when she gets something to work with of going for her shots, and it's working so far here in game 2.
Committed aggression. She finds the body bag on Ben Johns.
And I think that's one of the underrated speed-ups at Johns. If you go right into the body, a lot of times he will just block. And with him wondering, is he going to use 2 hands or 1 hand, sometimes there's a little element of indecision going right at him.
I don't think that's a call I've ever made.
Right at the body of
No,
Johnson.
more so that Ben Johns got body
No,
bag.
it's rare to see him that fooled, for sure.
That never happens.
7-3-2.
It's a testament to his skill, obviously.
Of course.
Side out.
Trying to lift that, changing the pace.
Yeah, smart shot by Johns there. Knows that all that really Johnson can do is just reset that and can't really get out of jail until he lets his foot off the gas.
That ball right on the baseline. You could see how much action Georgia Johnson was trying to get on that ball with the location and kind of fluidity of her paddle and wrist. And another point, make it 5-7. It was 2-7 when they got the ball back.
Yeah, I'd like to see a timeout from the Johnsons here, just for the purpose of changing the momentum and making Johns and Waters think about it a little bit more.
Interesting, too, to watch Johns go with the third shot drop, even while they unwind the stack, wanting to get up to that kitchen line.
Side out.
There's the drive.
Well, the Johnsons will certainly take that. Still a 2-point lead for them with the ball back here.
Caught him on the move.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We talked about the correlation between your lower body being balanced and the quality of your counterpunch. Tough to do when your feet are moving.
7-5-2. Point.
There's a beautiful shot off the paddle of Georgia Johnson. They find the 8th.
8-5-2. Side out.
Ben Johns wants the ball back, and he gets it.
Yeah, J.W. Johnson had a short return. He thought maybe he'd test Johns there, but he was up to the task with his counterpunching on that occasion.
It's hard when you're speeding up cross court. It feels, am I wrong, if you want to be able to have success there, it's got to get to the forehand side of Annalie?
I don't know if it necessarily has to get all the way to the forehand side, but it does have to be more in that belly button and body location to just create her not be able to get the extension with her hands.
Point.
A belly bitten.
Belly bitten.
I wonder where that is. 7-8 now.
7-8-1.
There's a nice stroke from Georgia Johnson.
Yeah, let that ball drop just a little bit more in order to find that forehand up the line. Nice choice.
7-8-2.
Still with a shot to tie. Georgia instead goes speed up the line. It is now 8-all.
Yeah, obviously tough going at the Ben Johns forehand, but then again, she was there for the recounter, just unable to win that fast exchange.
Oh, ouch.
Side out.
Friendly fire off the bounce. I think that's a steak dinner, Ben Johns.
Yeah, obviously a little
8-8
confusion there. You don't see that happen very often.
Great placement and location for J.W. Johnson. Great point construction.
Yeah, once he can sink his teeth into one of those backhand flicks, it really
9-8
sets him up to use his fast hands and dictate from there.
Now just going head-to-head with Annalie Waters in that last dink rally.
Second serve.
And a good leave from Ben Johns. A heads-up play. Second serve now.
9-8-2.
And another point. Make it 10
Timeout, receiver.
to 8.
10-8-2.
And an immediate timeout
1
called
minute.
by Waters and Johns.
And again, Georgia Johnson's just doing a great job of not being scared of going at Ben Johns. The last one that she did didn't work out, but she didn't get passive. She didn't get worried. She said, hey, in order for our team to have a chance to win, I've got to do a certain percentage of going at Johns. And so far, she's calibrated the patient aggression pendulum that you have perfectly.
Well, this is wildly reminiscent to Desert Ridge, right? Johnson and Johnson now with a 2-point advantage, looking to push this to a third. Remember, they dropped that 13-11. So what's the difference maker? What are you telling yourself mentally to get over the hump to get to game 3?
You just have to believe. You got to tell yourself that this is right where you want to be. You want to have these opportunities. There's no reason for you to feel pressure of, oh, did we let one slip away? Every point is a restart, and just be happy that you're in this moment and play to your strengths.
Well, and that's the next question, the strength. So where might this third shot go for Johnson and Johnson? Where do they play this?
Yeah, I think it depends on where the return comes to. I would say if it's J.W. Johnson, I'd like for him to just play percentages, try to gradually get in the kitchen line. But if Georgia gets it, I'd love to see her fire away and do a little shake and bake.
Well, there's the drop from J-Dub, and we are going to game 3. You gotta love it.
We said that this had the chance of being an epic match based on the last one where they lost in 2 tight games. We're at least going to 3, and anything can happen, Cameron.
Here's a look at that final point. J-Dub really willing that ball over. A hop, skip, and a jump gets him game number 2. Come play where the pros play here on the Carvana
Game 3,
PPA
time
Tour.
in, 0-0-2.
Game 3 action in the quarterfinals here for mixed pro doubles now underway. Whoa, Annalie Waters. That's not even flying in. That was wickedly quick. I know she missed, but she's moving.
Yeah, it was a great read. I like the play by them, just unable to convert on that particular occasion.
Second serve.
We started game number 1 with some really extended
0-0-2.
dink rallies. Game 2, not so much the case. A little bit shorter in points.
Side out.
Annalie, it's almost as if you don't want to poke the bear, and I mean that in the kindest way possible. And you got 2 bears on the side of Annalie and Ben Johns.
Yeah, I don't think people talk enough just about the competitive spirit
Yes.
that Annalie Waters has in addition to all that talent, and she does not like to lose.
Second serve.
J.W. Johnson doing a nice job getting that ball down. If you're just joining us, game 3 action in quarterfinals.
0-0-2.
The defending champs, Annalie Waters and Ben Johns, drop game 2.
Point.
J-Dub wanting to call that ball out of bounds, but Georgia's paddle was already there.
Yeah, tough to make that decision in a fraction of a second off the tape there.
0-2.
I said, good job, sis. Look at that expression on Georgia's face.
Yeah, she's taking a deep breath saying, oh, thank goodness it wasn't 2 in a row.
Second serve.
That is a big swing on a big swing, but perfectly timed from Annalie Waters.
Yeah, I actually like the play of the shake and bake, but if Annalie Waters can turn on that two-hander, it's obviously not going to work out too well.
Georgia Johnson finding the backside.
Yeah, and her two-handed backhand, the power, the ability to turn on that and go line is really giving Ben Johnson fits right now.
And also the ability to keep that in bounds. So easy to overturn that ball. Oh man, Georgia Johnson displayed some pretty fantastic defense. Ben Johns was forced to go the opposite direction.
Yeah, even though they lost that point, her defense, her counterpunching is still making Johns feel some pressure out there.
J-Dub, and it's out of bounds. It's interesting to watch that cross-court dink rally. The backspin of Georgia Johnson.
2-1-1.
The rolling forehand of Annalie Waters going head-to-head. Good cover by J-Dub.
Yeah, great read. He kind of felt that his sister was pushed back a little bit by the serve, knew that they would maybe look to drive there, and he stayed home just a little bit longer.
2-1-2.
J-Dub's getting expressive.
Yeah, his hand speed kind of bailed him out a little bit. Georgia got fumbled with her footwork, popped it up, but they were still able to steal that one away.
Hello, hands. Ben Johns winning that.
Yeah, Johns is dialed in now. The hands are working. He knows he has to bring his A game if they're going to get through this one.
Checking a new ball.
You good? Yes. 1-2-2.
Just when you think you've seen all the capabilities of Annalie Waters, she shows you a new shot.
Yeah, no, she's still adding tools, and it's amazing to me, though, how good of a job J.W. Johnson's doing, covering that speed up back behind his body, even with keeping his feet planted. A lot of times people will get a little too weak if they don't have their body behind them, and he clearly not the case for him.
You know, it's so funny. You talked about not moving the feet. In the words of the great J-Dub, he said, when you have the flick, you don't need the feet.
I love it. I love it. Classic
Somebody
J-Dub.
put that on his shirt.
Point.
Tough getting that on the right hip of Georgia Johnson. Another point. It's 3-2.
3-2-2.
What did he do to that ball?
No, went with an extreme angle where he changed his swing path rather than finishing on the opposite shoulder to the same shoulder, just kind of going straight up to increase the top spin there. Beautiful execution.
Georgia finds the line. so good for Ben Johns. Silky smooth on the speed up.
Yeah, certainly not a bad shot selection by Johnson there, but just you see how tough it is with the presence of Ben Johns completely owning the middle of the court.
4-2-2.
A 2-point advantage for the #1 seed. J-Dub did everything he could as Annalee Waters finds herself on the left side.
Yeah, we had another one of those formation changes that just kind of happened reactively throughout the point, but they're able to get it done.
Side out.
And a much needed side out.
Yeah, so the Johnsons down early, but still within striking distance here.
Second serve.
Yeah, if they are going to shake and make, and this is why it's so challenging to play this team, I do feel like the drive needs to go at Johns or right into the body of Waters. If she has the ability to extend her hand, she's just generating so much power on that two-handed backhand.
Georgia went up the line, then tried to find that right side of Ben Johns. They're not turning their direction quite yet. Ball back, 5-2. An opposite angle for J.W. Johnson.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job this point of just moving the ball around, eventually got the pop-up and took advantage of it.
Point.
Oh, he tried to take a little bit off. That ball did not bounce as high as he thought it might. 6-2 now, so a change of ends. Waters and Johns with a substantial lead here in game number 3. Johnson and Johnson are going to have to find some magic here in game 3 to get themselves back in this. Cameron Irwin alongside Kyle McKenzie. Annalee serves yet again. So Kyle, I must ask, if you're Johnson and Johnson, what can you look to do at this point?
Well, I think the key here to me is Georgia Johnson's been playing a great match, but I think she needs to continue to move the ball around. She can stay in the pattern with Annalee and those cross-court dinks for a little while, but the longer she does it, the more Ben Johns owns and clogs the middle. So she can dink back behind him. That'll actually set up her brother to get more involved with some more forehands in the middle where he can start to dictate.
She can also do that, too, with a block winner.
Or just do that.
Or just do that
another, what do they need? 8 more times to win the match? Pretty impressive there.
And she does it yet again.
Yep. And I think from Waters' perspective, she's tried it a few times, but unless she hits a really, really good location, the power of Georgia Johnson has been effective enough for that cross-court attack to not be that effective for her.
So instead of the dink up the line, she goes with the speed up the line.
Yeah, and not a bad play either. She also has to balance some attacks as well. It didn't work out for her there, but the dink up the line, as long as she doesn't get earned, will help her brother get a little more involved.
There it is, Georgia Johnson, the forehand winner.
Yeah, and she's making Johns pay for it every time he tries to thread the needle and be a little too predictable with the attacks. Her counterpunching has been very problematic for him.
Georgia Johnson, outstanding play.
It's really elite play right now. It's not just the execution, but really just the pickleball IQ that she's showing out there is extremely impressive to me in how she's balancing her patterns.
6-7 forces a timeout on the side of Waters and Johns. You mentioned the pickleball IQ. She's just 16 years old, but playing in not only a high-pressure situation as you look back on this last one, but the ability to find Ben Johns as he's sliding back to kind of cover more of that left side, and that right hip requires not only execution in terms of the placement, but understanding that he's shifting, and that's a moving target.
Exactly, and it seems like counterintuitive because you think, well, Ben Johns, he's the best player in the game. He's so dominant. What do most teams want to do? Well, I guess we'll hit it to his partner. But when his partner's Annalie Waters, and they know that most teams do that, he gets so comfortable in that off-the-ball role. Really, to make him human, you have to go at him enough to make him second-guess his movement. And when he's covering that much court, he is more exposed for those attacks.
So I guess the question is, what is if he's not human? A superhero?
Yeah.
I don't know.
6-7-2.
Back in action now. Johnson & Johnson down by 1. There's the pattern you were talking about. The dink up the line gets J-Dub involved, and it pays off.
Yeah, it's usually going to create a lift dink to the JW forehand, and it sinks his teeth into the point long enough to maybe get it.
Side out.
Nice shot there by Waters, finding the feet of Johnson as she was working her way in.
So they earn the side out. It was 7-2. Now 7 apiece. Calculated aggression until J-Dub just doesn't even believe it.
Yeah.
Got the overhead look.
Those definitely hurt, but I love that his little sister, Georgia, pats him on the shoulder there and says, hey, we're still in this. Don't worry about it. We still have a chance.
I like the location there for Johnson & Johnson, kind of finding that in-between zone as one player's further in front of the other.
Yeah, generally speaking, if your opponents are staggered and you have a high ball, you want to go to the person closer to you. Nice job there.
Wow, the first missed dink we have seen from Annalie Waters. I can't remember another in this match.
Well, I don't think Johns and Waters are impervious to feeling a little pressure themselves, and that's what happens when you keep the score close.
J-Dub had a good read on it. Speaking of everyone pulling out their best game, impervious in game 3. Look at you.
You know, I like to keep you on your toes out here, Cameron.
8-7. Thank you, net, says Georgia Johnson.
But again, what set that up was the previous dink back behind Johns. She leaned in and was able to dictate from there.
8-8-2.
8-8, second serve. There was one of those in game 1, and Georgia Johnson wasn't able to manage. That's not the case now.
That was a very, very awkward and tough ball to handle, but she got it down just enough to get the error from Johns.
So a side out, but the lead now resides on the side of Johnson and Johnson.
8-9-1.
Must win by 2. Just enough of a reach for Ben Johns.
Yeah, good idea by Johnson there to dink behind him, but wasn't able to get that one to bounce. And Ben Johns does not need a lot of daylight to work with to be offensive.
There's the cross-court speed up on the forehand side, or at least to the right side of her body.
Somewhere near that right hip. Somewhere near that right hip will get the job done. Well done.
9-9-2.
Georgia Johnson is jumping up and down. She just won a hands battle versus Ben Johns.
To me, the entire theme of the match is Georgia Johnson's willingness to be bold at the right times. She didn't care about the score there. Really, really great point from her.
She wanted another. Ben Johns showing off his flexibility, getting out of the way.
Absolutely, not just the hand speed, but the body control. Covering that much court in a fast hand exchange is really tough to do.
9-9-2.
9-9, second serve. Wow, that was a nice chicken wing from Annalie Waters. I don't know how she got that ball back, but it's the 10th point. And now match point for J.W. Johnson and Georgia Johnson. Redemption to the semifinals. Johnson and Johnson.
What a fitting end. We talked about how Georgia Johnson was bold. She finishes the match off by going right at Ben Johns, and it pays dividends, Cameron. What a match.
The final point. Georgia Johnson, absolutely relentless, going head-to-head with Ben Johns and picking up game number 3. 11-9. The #1 seed falls to Johnson and Johnson.
It's the first loss that Waters and Johns have had this year. They came into this tournament with double, triple crowns, but just a great performance by the brother-sister duo of JW and Georgia Johnson. Great to see.
Dave Fleming and Drew Filios will walk you through the rest of the day. Thanks for joining us.